going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is for entertainment purposes only. So I got a couple of trades that I'm looking into for this week. Last week I mentioned Euro AUS. I wasn't quite sure if price was going to make it up into the sell zone by red flag news, but it didn't. And it also didn't make it down to where I was considering buying. But then again, I thought about it, and it's like, well, you're buying from no man's land. It really could go either way, and it did. So I canceled the buy because it didn't make it there. So I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna leave my sell order, and I'll see what happens. And then we clocked in this extra low here, and then it started to make sense, right? Now it's starting to make sense. So I was thinking about buying here, and I could have made some money there, but I didn't. Because again, who knows? I waited for the zone. So I sold. First off, price came up into the zone, but didn't quite make it to where I wanted it to go to. But I figured we'd go down, make a higher low, come back up, you know, and then drop. So I just used my intuition, I guess. I entered right there. Right there, entered, and I wrote it down to this shoulder line and took profit right there. I made a few $100 off of that this week. And other than that, I didn't really trade anything because yeah, the Fed meeting was not what I was expecting. My bias was up for Aussie this week, and we went up, but it was hard for me psychologically to buy this. You know what I mean? Like, from where? I don't know. It just, yeah, it was, I couldn't do it. And then I noticed we made it all the way to here. Look how close we were. Look, I mean, seriously, look how close we were to that double top. And they did not take that out. Ooh, that's a clue. Because if you think about the Fed meeting, what did they say? Not much. Right? Kind of unconclusive. We're just going to pause. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to see what happens. So obviously, the market's going to wait on other pieces of red flag news coming out of the US before price is going to move. But to me, this is a clue that the markets, or Aussie USD, is going back up. We need to move sideways. We can't just keep going down. So the market's got to go back up. So I see this in two different ways here. So I went down to the monthly chart. Here on Aussie, you see this right here. Big mother shoulder line here. Huge bounce off of that. Right, then we move forward. Here's COVID, false break. Huge move away. Came back down again. Hit it again. Little false break this time. And we got another pretty decent sized move off of that zone, and now we're kind of creeping our way back down. So it seems like every time we've bounced, it's like you throw a ball at the ground and it bounces, but it kind of loses its momentum and just kind of comes to a stop. And that's kind of what it seems like is happening here. Just like bounce, 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 bounce until it breaks through. So if we're going to be moving sideways for a bit longer, I would say this is what I think is going to happen. Well, I see two scenarios here, and this is how I'm going to trade it. If Aussie USD decides to crawl its way up and take out this double top early on in the week, I will sell right here and rip this down to that monthly area and take profit there and see what happens. But I don't think that's going to be the case, honestly. I mean, you can see this little break, retest. I think potentially the market might go straight down from here. And I might actually be looking for buys right here. Right at that monthly shoulder line. Look for buys there. And hold it all the way up to this double top. And take profit right at that double top. And then be looking for price to either once it comes back up off the bottom, and obviously it won't be a straight line, it'll be confusing and squiggly and do whatever, but in the simplest terms, after it hits the bottom and comes up, I'll either be looking for it to take that double top out and drop, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think we might come up one more zone. And this will be part of a greater, like, pattern within the greater pattern, right? This just looks like one giant expansion of some kind. I mean, I wouldn't think that we're coming all the way back up here. Yeah, I don't think that's a possibility, but I think at least within these two zones. So yeah, I'll be looking for a sell there, and maybe I'll do some of my position here and then the rest of my position here, looking for this to sell. Bigger picture, but that's going to be a while before that happens. So regardless, for this week anyways, and we have to see how price moves because things change, but again, I'll be looking for either price to correct upwards, take out this double top, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, and then I would go for the sell if that's the case. But I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to drop first. I'm not going for this sell. I'm not. I'm going to wait and go for this buy because at least we're at a clear support level. You know, much easier for me mentally. And I know that double top's still sitting there, so if we can get in at this monthly support level going, well, you know, we were right there, dude. We were right there, and they decided not, if they were going to drop the market from there and never return, why wouldn't they have taken that out? Because it's right there. They just left money sitting on the table. It's like, you see a $100 bill on the ground outside and no one's around to claim it, and you're just going to leave it there? No, of course not. So yeah, to me, I'll be looking for that buy, and only so either buy from there or sell from there. That's my plan for this week, but we'll see what happens in between. And then USD CAD, I'm watching because I want, you know, part of my overall strategy, I want to have one trade that I can hold long term and just let it go. You know, not have a crazy amount of risk on it, because I like to do high risk. Like, I like to put half of my entire account down on one trade, because that's how I was able to double my account with Aussie. But yeah, you got to be careful if you don't get in at clear zones and you think you see something, you jump in, you get wrecked. But yeah, it looks like Canadian dollar is getting stronger again. I know there's a 382 pin bar here, but I've learned very quickly to take candle actions with a grain of salt, because it doesn't mean anything really. But if USD CAD makes it back down into this zone, taking out these lows, I'll be looking for a buy here. Right in here. I'll be looking for a buy long term all the way up to this double top if we get this pullback. Yeah, I'm not going to do a huge position, just, you know, just something that I can hold, that and now I feel like I have some money out there. It's working. It's should be heading in my direction. I have a clear target. You know, we have a strong buy on the weekly chart here with Lux Algo. We're getting the pullback now, so it's a matter of time before that snaps out. You know, we got that big juicy double top sitting there. I don't think they're gonna leave that. So I'll be watching that one for the long-term kind of game. But other than that, I'll be looking for EURUSD. If this thing makes it up into this sell zone again, I'm going to sell it down into this buy zone, take profit, and get out. And then obviously AUDUSD, and you could do this with also Euro. I mean, if you think about this, right? Think about this. Fed said nothing, really. So we're going to move sideways for a while, more than likely. So what would that look like? Well, it looks like Euro is coming into an area of support here. Right? We had a false break out of this this flat here. False break, we came crashing through. But we haven't had that retest on the weekly yet. So that could be, you know, maybe we get a buy out of, or we get a bounce out of this zone and we come back up into this zone, retesting this broken trend line before heading back down. And this could be weeks, right? This could be a month, month and a half, 2 months that all this takes place to move sideways a little bit longer until we break and keep going lower, because bigger picture, that's what this looks like, is a break, retest, and potentially keep going lower. So if I zoom in a bit, I don't know, I might go for this, I might not. But Euro, you know, we had this correction and then we had the drop. And from looking at these two lows, at least, it looks like maybe we're getting a little expansion here. I don't know. I don't quite know what this is yet. But regardless, I'm waiting for this to kind of reveal itself. But I think it still has ways to come up. So I'm thinking like here, this candle here. Yeah, this looks like a good area. If price makes it up into that, and this is part of this little expansion correction, you know, it is a level. So you see this right here and here. Just that could be the next thing that's happening there, because I think, yeah, you see that we have this little correction finishes, we get one more drop down into this buy zone, and then we start heading back up. That's what I think is coming. That's exactly what I think is coming. But I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again. Also, USD JPY, we're coming into a nice big juicy fat freaking quarter pounder with cheese right here, man. Weekly level of resistance, USD JPY. This might be worth going for a sell there and seeing what you can get. I'm not a big JPY trader, so but just pointing it out, that might be worth a shot. See if you can get a bounce from that weekly shoulder line. See what happens there. But yeah, anyways, that is it for this one. Yeah, we will see what happens this week. See you later.